evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Toxic Masculinity, the least professional live stream on YouTube. I'm here with my buddy Jason, as usual. How you doing, Jason?
Well, dealing with the Bidenomics, it was a hard day today.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
they,
You want to
dealing with this
listen
economy,
on the
it's a
details?
real issue.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where I'm coming from.
I think so. I think so.
Going out and making a shopping is like just a sad thing,
It's incredibly cheap for me, but I'm currently in a third world country, so everything's a little bit cheaper here. In order to survive in America, you have to move to a third world country.
Yeah, you're smart.
That's
Chris,
Bidenomics.
Yeah, you're smart. You left the country for 4 years, and that's I should have done that.
For 4 years.
Well,
wow, you're really keeping me out.
You left the country just on time.
Yeah, just on time. Yeah,
and watch, Trump is gonna win. You're gonna come back and reap the benefits again.
100%. All right, so we've got a ton of news stories today, and they're pretty amazing. I kind of want to jump right into the first one just because it's hilarious. We didn't go over the order here, so Jason has no idea what I'm about to say.
Exciting,
but yeah, we didn't get a chance to go over it. But this is something that Jason posted that kind of cracked me up. It's something that I've heard already in the past about something that the left thinks. But this is from the New York Post. It says, expecting people to be on time is part of white supremacy culture, according to Duke Medical School. This is if you're on time, punctuality, I guess, is the word. Punctuality is a white thing, and you can only be expected to be punctual if you are on time. According to the image here, they've got Duke University of Medicine populations by race or ethnicity. Oh, I thought that was going to be a graph of who gets to their classes on time or something like that. That's kind of pointless. That would be great, wouldn't it? To actually have Elon Musk has posted here. He says, also expecting doctors to cure you before you die is part of white supremacy. Yeah. That's gold. That's gold. Yeah. Anyway, you want to talk about this since this is your thing?
This is the typical racism of lower expectations. It's like your typical white liberal leftists showing their true racism. Like I love these articles and these stories because it just shows like who they are, shows the hypocrisy, and it just needs to be out there to show these people who they really are. But yeah, like it's incredible the racism that you see in this one article here. It's crazy.
What's
it's crazy. It's wild. It's wild.
I always say black culture is crap, right? Or something like that. Black culture is terrible. Black culture needs to be fixed in America. I always say that. And the reason I say that is because I think it's important that we distinguish black culture from black race, right? Black culture a little bit different everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I used to try to distinguish black culture from ghetto culture, right? Because I knew some black guys in Miami. I went to actually a black church. Weirdly, I attended a black church for a little while in Miami, and some of those people were really good people. And there is this kind of black culture that you have, this idea in America of like going to the black barbecue, and different states, different regions of the country have their different sort of like long history of black culture. But I almost feel like that's been erased. I mean, I'm sure it must exist to some degree, but it's like it's really been eclipsed by this I don't know, vandal culture, this culture of hating white people. And I remember when I was growing up, I met this girl, black girl. She was from Texas, actually. And she was like, oh, yeah, when I was growing up, I was friends with some white kids, right? I was friends with some white kids that lived near me or something like that. And the black kids at my school would call me names, like really disrespectful, awful, so bully her essentially, because she would actually try to study. And she didn't sound black. She sounded white to them. So there was this whole culture of, oh, you can't sound like, you can't speak too well, and you can't try to educate yourself. Anything that you would do that would try to improve yourself, or that, allowed you to seem, not ghetto, to them, you were trying to be white. You were trying to be white. And that was terrible because, oh, white people are terrible and you can't be white because white people are the worst. And to me, that was just such a racist, nasty thing, And there is this kind of stereotype thing where a lot of Black Americans, if they hate white people, I'm talking about the Black Americans that hate white people. If there is a stereotype that contradicts white culture, what they perceive to be white culture, they will lean into that, right? And so if they think white people are always punctual, they will be late just to spite white people, just because they don't want to be like white people. Well, you know what? Fine. If you hate white people so much, if you are so racist that you are willing to be late for work, you can you can go ahead and be fired. You can go ahead and not get a job. Sorry, I'm kind of suffering.
Oh, no.
Take over the show slightly. But yeah, this is what I think. I think that the reason that
they have black privilege, Chris. There's no firing them for stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think I've mentioned this on the show before. I was once in LA ordering like Uber Eats or something like that because I was doing the show, and I didn't have time to cook. So I ordered this Uber Eats, and this woman had come to my apartment, and I was on a phone call. I think I was on a phone call with like Newsmax or somebody who was vaguely important, somebody I wanted to talk to, somebody that I needed to talk to for the show and everything. And I get this. I said, okay, hold on. My Uber Eats driver's here. Just I got to switch over real quick because they're calling me. So I switch over, and this woman's like, are you living above a clothing shop? Because I'm at a clothing shop. I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't live above a clothing shop. And she goes, oh, well, I'm at a clothing shop. Can you just come down and look around for me? And I'm like, no, I don't know where you are. Like the address is, you have the address. Like
yeah.
you're going to have to find my place. Like, and she goes, yeah, but I can't find it. I'm just driving around in circles here. And I'm like, look, I don't know where you are. I'm on a phone, on an important phone call. Like I've got to go. And she's like, no. You got to come down. You got to like come find me and all this. And I'm like, look, I really have to go. You're going to have to figure it out. And I try to switch over. And as I try to switch over, I literally heard her say the angry black woman stereotype phrase. What did she say? She said, she goes, as I was switching over, I heard, oh, hell no. It couldn't have been more stereotypical. It's hilarious. And so as I switched over, I'm like laughing as I'm switching over the phone to the other guy. But anyway, I got the phone call out of the way. But the woman ended up just leaving. She just left with my food. And I just thought, how rude can you possibly be? Like, she's in a service job. Like, that's what she does. She provides a service to people. She can't get the job done right. So she calls the person that she's supposed to be doing the service for, and she complains and tells them that they have to do half her job for her. And then when the person says, oh, no, actually, I can't do that right now. I'm busy. That's the whole reason I called you, actually, is because I was too busy to cook myself or to do, because I'm working on something. Then she gets this attitude and then just like gives up and doesn't. And I just thought, man, and you're 100% right. This is this black privilege thing that we have in America, where if you're black, you kind of get this pass. You can do whatever you want kind of thing a lot of times. And they get conditioned to believe that way. And it's really not entirely their fault, right? It's mostly the fault of white people who have this sort of sycophantic view of black people who were like, oh, I'm so sorry that your life is difficult. It must be because I was racist. It must be because people that look like me were evil to you. Now, look, black people are not stupid people. I mean, it's such a patronizing thing where they're like, oh, I'm sorry you can't because you're a little bit inferior. so you can't be responsible or respectful or kind or intelligent. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. You just babied them their whole lives. So now they don't have to.
You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think they actually are smart and they know this and they're using it to their advantage. Yeah, because
there was a black guy. There was a black guy parked in one of my parking spot that I paid for in my apartment building. I don't even know how he got in because the gate is like electronic. It must have been open. He just came in. He parked in my spot. So I'm waiting for him for like 10 minutes. He finally gets in his car and leaves. I start shouting at the guy, like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Don't just take somebody's spot. You know, I pay for this spot and I gotta effing wait for you for 10 minutes." The guy goes, "Oh, you know, Black Lives Matter."
No, are you serious?
Oh, yeah, and he kind of laughed, and he kind of laughed as he said it, like ha ha ha. And I'm like, "Oh, you're a bitch. You're a bitch." Yeah, but he was.
I think I would have laughed and been like, "Good one, man. Good one, dude." I got to give him points for that. That's hilarious.
No, he totally knew. He totally knew that what he was doing. He was being an a-hole. And he totally knew that society gives him a pass because he's black and he doesn't have to play by the rules. And that pissed me off so much. I was just like, dude, you know exactly what you're doing. You don't care. And but honestly, like our society has done that. Yeah. It's created this atmosphere.
You notice like they mainly are in like service industry jobs. Isn't that hilarious?
A lot of black Americans are in service industry jobs, and there's just but the weird thing is you will occasionally find, it's amazing actually in LA, you know, if you're dealing with, I mean, customer service is crappy across the board basically in LA. It's like the worst customer service in the world outside of Hawaii. Hawaii is even worse. But LA is just terrible. Occasionally you do get like, you know, a black American who's a waiter or something, and they're super polite, or even like at McDonald's, they're super polite, they're super respectful, they're super nice. And you want to give them like the biggest tip in the world. You want to give them like $100 because you're like, wow, like how is this possible? You know, it's like so unreal. If you get lucky enough to get like a white person in a service job, they're usually good. But it's incredible. It's not that calm. It's not that. I mean, it does happen. You know, certain restaurants.
You know what's messed up? I think we've mentioned this before, but you know what's messed up? Like, if I'll go into like a Walmart or supermarket or any store like that, and I have to deal with the cashier, which is rare now. Usually, I go to the automated.
You'll avoid them if they're black.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm searching the lanes. I'm like, okay, let me see. You know.
Oh man, we're gonna get so much trouble for this episode.
I'm not necessarily looking for a white person, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm searching for somebody that's, you know, not your typical black person there. That's but you know, it's a sad it's a sad state that's what happens. You know, those are the things that you got to do.
Black Americans
I always notice like when
to get away with stuff.
Yeah, and even in the lanes, like that you when in their lanes, it always takes a million years. Like you have this little old white lady or old Spanish lady, and they're fast. The lines are fast. But let me tell you, sometimes the Spanish old women too, they can talk, and it's kind of annoying too. But it's crazy, man. It's black privilege.
I think I mentioned this as well. I was in New York City with my mother, and I was gonna go off on this woman. But my mom was there, and she was already terrified of New York City. Like she couldn't handle New York City. It was like too intense for her. So I was in a line. It was a long line. This is in Times Square. I think at the Foot Locker in Times Square. Huge line. We're buying a pair of shoes, and we finally get up to the front, and this big black woman is like chatting away with her boss or some coworker or something, and the coworker's not doing anything. They're just sort of sitting back and chatting and having a good old time. And it's like you see this giant line. It's like you think you'd have two cash registers open, but no, it's just the one. Okay,
yeah.
So she's ringing people up, whatever, and she's not even talking to the people that come to her. She's just taking the thing, scanning it, taking their card, swiping it, whatever it is, and giving them their products, and doing her job without actually interacting with the customers at all, just chatting away with her coworker. I finally get to the front of the line. We do our thing. I take my bag. I go to leave. And she yells at me, "Did you snatch?" Like yelled, like super loud in front of like everybody. And everybody like turns to me. And I notice everybody's looking at me. And I turn to her because I didn't realize she was yelling at me. And I go, sorry? And she goes, did you snatch? And I go, I don't know what that means. And she goes, I handed you the bag and you snatched it out of my hand. And I go, I took the bag out of your hand. And she goes, no, you snatched. That's disrespectful or something like that, you know? And I was just like this close. I was just like going to go up to her and just be like, you stupid bitch, baba, you know, you know, New York style, you know? And I turn and I see my mother just like terrified, you know, and I go, thank you. I would just
yeah.
I would just like control yourself, man. I was pissed off at this woman too.
But you're right.
I hate that disrespect. I hate that disrespectful attitude that they, you know.
I hate it. Like especially when you're dealing with the black people in the register and stuff like that. Like black women, I would say the black. Let me tell you something, everybody. There's no issue with me with black men. Black men are so cool. Like I have a bunch of friends and like there's never. It's weird because there's never an issue with them. It's always the black women.
It's much I noticed more rare. Although I was on a plane once and there was a black guy walking the wrong way on the aisle and he was just like pushing everybody out of the way. I don't know why he was doing this, but we almost came to blows. I was pissed off at this guy. It's not just black women, but I would say, yeah, it's like 90%, especially in the service job thing. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so like you'll go to them and they won't even acknowledge you exist, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, why are you doing this job if you're not even going to acknowledge, like say a hello or how you doing? Like nothing like this, it's a bitch face. They always have this bitch face. Like it's very annoying. Like you can even see them driving in a car. They have like a bitch face. It's like, it's amazing. And what I've been doing now, I've been ignoring them. Like I don't even acknowledge them. You know? And sometimes I'll be obnoxious and be like, hello, yeah. Sometimes I'll be like, hello, you're there. Okay. Yeah.
I guess maybe that's the answer. Maybe just be rude back or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I just most of the time I just ignore.
But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make here, it's really not like, I don't know why this has become a problem in America. Like in America, there was always this idea like customer service is important. You have to be respectful. You have to be kind. You have to be courteous. And we just kind of dismiss that now, especially like if you're a black woman in particular. It's like you could just act however you want and you'll never get fired. It's exactly like you said. And this girl, I was talking to this girl the other day. We went to the mall. I took this girl to this mall. I actually needed to get some shoes. So I go to this mall with this girl. And we're walking to the mall, and she loves malls. Like she was working in China. She was like whatever. She was working in China as a model. Like that's kind of common actually. Like models will come to China before they, you know, do their career in Europe or whatever like that. So she was in China, and she was saying, "Oh, the malls in China are amazing. They're like huge. They're elaborate." And I went to this mall in Kuala Lumpur, which is like this fantastic. Now this mall we were in wasn't quite as spectacular, but it was a nice place. It was a nice place to hang out, actually. And I was like, you know what's interesting about malls? Malls in the 1980s in America used to also be amazing, but now they're kind of crappy. And the look on her face was just devastation. She was just like, what? Why? Why would malls in America be crappy now? And I go, actually, I actually think a large part of it, this is kind of a messed up thing to say, but they kind of been overrun by young black people who have decided like that's going to be their local hangout. And she's like, well, why would that make it crappy? And I'm like, well, it's because of black culture in America. And I started thinking about this, like, this sounds so racist to say this, but it's not really about them being black so much. It's about the black culture being like, oh, you can just put graffiti everywhere and it's cool. You can go ahead and like take your trash that you've got from McDonald's or whatever and just throw it on the ground. You know, like you can just like trash places and it's fine. You can go shoplift. You can go loot places and it's fine. Like there is this culture of destruction.
And not only that, I'm tired of seeing the guys with their pants. I'm tired of seeing their underwear.
Yeah, that's true too. But I mean, it's just like, and it occurred to me that this is a very difficult thing. Like it's a very difficult thing to discuss the problems with black culture. I basically told her, look, if you get a lot of black Americans congregated in one place, they will destroy that place. That's just how America is now. And I don't think it used to be like that, you know. And there used to be a lot of dignity in within Black culture. Like there used to be a lot of dignity and integrity, and people would act respectfully and kind and intelligent. And I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was gangster rap in the night. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but something changed in Black culture. And I think it may be what we're talking about, how white people just went, oh, you know what? You can act however you want in any job, and we're never going to fire you because reparations or whatever it is. You know, there's like white guilt or something. Oh, we got to treat Black people like they're.
But you notice when that culture spreads into other races, because you're right, it's not a race thing, it's a culture thing. But when that culture spreads into other races, you see it ends up the same way. Like it's just trashy and like, yeah. I mean,
because you can have kind of like hillbilly culture can kind of be the same thing, right? You can have like very what I would call dignified poor, right? Poor people who maintain a tidy home, even though they don't have a lot of money or whatever, and they do their best. And usually those people draw themselves out of poverty. And then you have the sort of like meth addicts and people who don't give a crap and like trash their home. So it can happen with white people as well, for sure. But you just don't seem to see the same kinds of really aggressively destructive behavior with like poor white people that you do with poor Black people in America.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know how to
just put it this way. If you were to choose from a white poor neighborhood or a Black poor neighborhood, the obvious answer is there, right? I mean,
honestly, I think even most like normal, like decent Black people would choose the poor white neighborhood.
Yeah, that's exactly. Even Black people choose the white poor neighborhood. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a race issue, man. Like and I'm not saying it to whatchamacallit, to belittle Black people or anything. It's like I want them to overcome that. Like white liberals don't want them to overcome that, but we do. We want them to get out of that situation that they are. Because
I don't necessarily
think
of Black Americans.
I'm saying they can be their own worst enemy because they're the ones killing themselves. They're the ones doing all this crazy stuff to their own people, So I mean, and that's the conservative platform. Get out of that mess.
You like to pause and give me the opening to come in and then talk again. That's
no, you just like to talk a lot.
No, you go. Let me pause for 4 seconds. And also,
guys, he's been talking for like 1 hour on his points and all this stuff, and then I only get 2 minutes.
No, it's fine. You can take as long as you want. Just don't leave these gaps where I think I'm gonna. Hey, Chris, jump in here. Just kidding. That's
by the way, somebody asked if we fired Kurt.
No, we did not fire Kurt. I don't know. He's just not showing. He's not. I don't know. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, all right. But I'm trying to convince him to come back. So I don't know. I haven't written him off entirely, but I don't know.
I tell you what, if the super chats were like $1,000 each stream, he'd probably come right back. So guys,
yeah. Oh. Well, anyway, okay. So let me just say, like, I don't tend to think of Black Americans as Black first. Actually, I think of Black Americans as Americans, right? So I don't even really think of like fixing Black culture in America as a Black problem. It definitely is a Black problem, but I think of it as an American problem. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. And the math that I'm not able to perform for whatever reason is, how do you fix this? And the reason that I'm unsure how to fix it is because I'm unsure how to even talk about it. And I guess that's what I wanted to bring up today is, like, I'm sitting there talking to this girl about how, like, you get a bunch of Black people in one area in America and they destroy it. It makes it sound like, I mean, most people in America are going to go, oh, that's a racist thing to say. It's really not a racist thing to say. It's the truth. It's what happens. And like I said, it's not a race thing. It's a cultural thing, but you still can't discuss it. You're not allowed to discuss it. And I think this is a huge problem. So I think the first step is figuring out a way that we can actually talk about this, where people aren't just going to call you racist and dismiss you. And then secondly, we got to figure out ways we can actually address this problem other than just, well, we can just buy these schools new computers,
Yeah. The only way that's going to happen is you have to get rid of the Democrats. I mean, they won't allow it, you know. But you're right.
Yeah.
Like the only way to solve this is you have to talk about it, and everybody has to be allowed to talk about it, and talk about it honestly. You know, you're absolutely right.
Right. And then maybe punctuality will not be associated with white supremacy anymore. If we can work that out.
Let me tell you something. Here in Miami, it doesn't matter black, white, Hispanic, whatever. Nobody's ever early. So,
right.
By the way, we used the black privilege today on our show because we were late. So, so we kind of did it.
Yeah,
we weren't punctual.
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to get this second video up. Or the second thing up, but before we go to the next,
people are the chat is going off because I think Biden is at a news conference or something.
Oh, they finally got the news conference. I know it was delayed. Yeah. Is the news conference the same time as ours?
I think somebody said 7:30. 7:30 it started. So
okay,
it just started.
All right. Well, maybe. All right, maybe I'll check that out as we're going. Maybe I'll check out the Twitter or the X as they call it now, and we'll see what people are saying about it. But before we do that, we have a special guest today, Jason. Did you know this?
Oh wow! No. Who is it? Who can it possibly be?
You know what? It's somebody from the chat. It's one of you guys. And we were supposed to come on last week, but he disappointed us. Well, actually,
Monday.
The airlines
he was supposed to come on Monday.
Sorry, he was supposed to come on Monday, but he's here now today. His name in the chat is MMA Fix. How you doing, my friend? oh, he's studying up. He's studying up for the show.
Oh, well, that's embarrassing.
Just MMA doing my Fix. Welcome to the show, my friend.
The show there.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I noticed.
Thanks, boys, for having me on. Am I coming in okay? We didn't really get to do a test.
No, perfect. It's perfect.
Good,
yeah, I woke up late because, I actually am half black. I don't know if you're aware of that. Obviously, I am African American, and punctuality is
that was
racist
actually my
now,
fault
so.
too. Because apparently,
was it? Well,
I didn't realize the link was in the junk email, and I'm like, oh goodness, here I'm sitting there just refreshing.
Oh, sorry about
like,
that, man.
I'm missing something.
Well, I didn't realize either. If I would have known, I would have. I don't know.
So the whole time I'm
that's
like,
weird because
did I miss?
That's weird because we sent back and forth multiple emails, so it's bizarre that it would have gone into junk. You know what happened, Jason? He just kept putting my emails into junk.
It said
the
it was
system
the link.
had figured it out. Oh, it was the link. Okay, yeah. Well, the link is not. It's a normal site.
Yeah, it said you have to hit not spam or something.
All right, welcome to Behind the Scenes.
Welcome.
The most boring
I appreciate you boys having me on.
No, MMA Fixed. I would. Okay, Jason. This happens every effing show. No,
go for it, Chris.
No,
you're probably gonna ask my question.
No, I'm not gonna ask a question. I was just going to say, I would say objectively, MMA Fix typically is the funniest guy in the chat. There's a couple other guys that are really funny and throw in some jokes from time to time, but MMA is consistently throwing out, I would say, comedy gold. And we appreciate it, MMA Fix. We appreciate that you're in the chat. Not only comedy gold, but spitting facts. So, Jason, what's your question?
I have a question. I want to know the details of the name MMA Fix.
Okay, so you can probably tell that obviously the most of the I don't even know if you've checked out my channel at all, but I pretty much just cover MMA stuff related. I ended up buying it out from a company that I used to work for, and they used to have a website and everything, and just decided now they just went kaput. And then one day I'm like, I already ran the YouTube channel. I'm like, I'll just buy it from you, and the rest is to say it was history. So the whole thing, and my avatar is actually my logo. So if you check out my channel, you'll see the razor blade and the logo. I'm working on getting some actual merch. So when I talked to you guys in the past, half jokingly saying I was going to send you a bunch of stuff, I do want to do that. Haven't quite gotten there yet with the actual merch. It's just we were having some fun with
he will wear it
there.
Yeah, I can't wait.
If you send me a hat, it will be confiscated by the Indonesian government, because everything anyone sends me is confiscated by the Indonesian government.
Wow.
Gorka sent me a book that his wife wrote, signed copy of a book that his wife wrote, confiscated by the Indonesian government. He sent me a box of tea from England, confiscated by the Indonesian government. I think my mother sent me something, confiscated by the Indonesian government. So don't send me anything.
Somebody in Indonesia is really enjoying that stuff.
I know. They're going over the book.
You need to come back.
Fascinating American politics.
All the more reason you need to come back, Chris.
Yeah.
I need to skip back over to America.
MMA Fix, do you actually are you a trained fighter?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not professional. I know, Chris, you're doing Muay Thai all the time. You could probably, I've gotten old. Well, not old, but I've gotten lazy to say. I bet right now your skills are probably better than mine. I did a little bit in the Army, your typical. I've trained here and there over the course of X amount of years, but nothing super formal. It's just always been a passion of mine. And thank God it's one of the only non-woke sport. Hockey a little bit, but so every now and then in my videos I'll mix a little bit of a little bit of humor that might not be otherwise safe for you.
All right, so
I'm strictly talking politics.
That is a toxic masculinity subject. So just one more question: who is your favorite fighter? Did he? I think he froze.
Thank you, Mike.
The question is
are you open-ended question like that? Oh my goodness.
Okay, got it.
I'd have to say my first favorite fighters were either Chuck Liddell or Andrei Arlovsky. The classics. I can't believe Arlovsky's still fighting. It's crazy.
Oh wow!
I forgot how old he is right now. If I had to pick somebody in the newer kind of the newer generation, man, that's a tough one. I could go with a few, but right off the top of my head, I mean, Alex Pereira obviously is a big hit now, and I don't want to be like he's the next big thing, so you obviously liked him, but I've liked him when he was kickboxing out of Adesanya before either one of them were in MMA. So it's just I've liked how he's kind of grown into an MMA fighter, and now he's a dual champ. I mean, he holds the record for the fastest, literally the fastest 2-weight class champion since entering the organization. So that's pretty interesting. Speaking of the UFC, you can probably check. I saw briefly a comment. Someone said Dana White for VP.
I saw it.
Pretty funny.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yep. The problem I have with Dana White, I was saying the problem I have with Dana White actually being in government or actually running a country or something like that would be he's atheist. So I don't know. I think you need to have kind of a moral some belief system.
Yeah.
But I mean I like him except for that one thing.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. I think Trump is probably not the most religious guy. I think
I'd have to agree with you on that. I think one of his famous quotes is he's fascinated by religion, or he has a famous quote with something like that where he said he's fascinated, and I didn't know if he was very tongue in cheek by saying it was fascinating or something to that effect.
I will say that my favorite fighter of all time,
but
has to be Randy Couture, and the reason it's Randy Couture. Well, not just because I think my brother met him at some point, or he's connected to him through his coach or something like that. My brother is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but I actually happen to know his girlfriend / wife, kind of. I think I don't think they ever got married, but they've been together for a million years. Mindy Robinson, who is on X, and she's on our side. She's a little bit crazy. I did see her just about take out a guy once, but in the best way possible. What's that? Oh, why is the delay so bad?
Yeah,
I mean, it's an unbelievable delay.
Yeah.
MMA Fix, why don't you sign off? Why don't you?
I think it was cutting out briefly, but yeah, no, he just got a bad reputation.
Come back.
All right.
Does he? Yeah, but he's a real nice guy. I've only met him over FaceTime, but so MMA Fix is going to leave us momentarily, and then he's going to come back in, and we'll set him up.
maybe he should go by. I don't know if he's going with his phone or with the Wi-Fi, but I think that's an issue on phones.
We've had such a problem with people with our guests coming in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what the deal is.
We really
like
need to
everyone
solve that
in the
issue.
chat. Everyone in the chat that comes in, it's like, it's just like the worst sort of thing. This is the worst one so far, but yeah, maybe when he comes back and we'll be able to fix that. So yeah, we'll come in with the next. Should we do this? Should we just go on to the next story?
Yep.
And then we'll go ahead and talk, because this is one of my favorite things that Babylon Bee has put out in a long time. I don't know if this is something that you even saw, Jason, because this is like the last thing that I posted. Media who refuse to report on Biden's decline, they're furious. The media who refuse to report on Biden's decline, they're furious that nobody reported on Biden's decline.
Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely love that, because it's oh my God, it just drives me nuts, right? Like,
yeah.
Now, we're going to get into it, because there is a couple of reporters who have said, actually, all along we knew, and they're kind of like, there's a little bit of a mea culpa there, which I think is shocking. I didn't think anybody would do that.
Which should anger Democrats voters.
Which should, yeah. All right, MMA Fix is back. Hello, MMA Fix. Do you want to tell everybody your real, actual first name?
I was actually, I think we got sidetracked at the beginning. So yeah, we're on a first name basis. You guys can call me Ryan if you'd like, or you were probably confused with my email. You're like, who the heck is this remix guy?
So, yeah, that was weird for sure. Yeah.
In this setting, it's a little weird for me to be referring to myself as MMA Fix, because it's the brand and the channel. So if you ever see like the remix or the combat remix, that's the character, my alter ego in the actual videos.
And his name is Ryan. Well, nice to have you on the show, Ryan. Now, this is I don't know if you can see the screen here. This is a new post from Babylon Bee. They've written, it's a great headline. They've written, the media who refuse to report on Biden's decline are furious that nobody has reported on Biden's decline. Suddenly. I thought that was quite funny. What's your take on the media suddenly going, you know what? I think Joe Biden might actually be unfit for office. Shock horror. We had no idea. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it looks like they all got the call. This is the reason where I have to make lighthearted comments all the time, because it's this type of stuff, whether it's these people, AOC. If you could, how many names could you fill in that, where they just get your blood boiling, you just shake your head, and you can't even believe it. Like all of a sudden, you've been living under a rock. So instead of me getting as black pilled as Jason, I wasn't even joking when that happens. These are the type of things where you're just like, are these people just, they think we're stupid? What the heck is going on? And then that's why I just have to laugh it off, or else I'm gonna die an early death and an aneurysm.
Well, I think their base is that stupid. Really, truly. I think their base was clueless. And I'm talking about the voters. Because, I mean, this should outrage them. Like, this should piss them off. This should make them angry. I mean, they lie to their face, you know? We're more enlightened to this. I think conservatives and Republicans and stuff like that are more aware of this stuff. I mean, we've been saying it since he ran for president the first time. So this was expected, but the fact that these people clearly lied to the voters, to the people, to their viewers, it's whatchamacallit, it's really bad. Like, people should be fired. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The fact that the media is lying to the American public is something that I think once you figure that out, it is quite it's
just one of those things that make you shake your head.
Hey, Ryan, are you using your computer or your phone? We'll wait. Whatever I think he's using his computer. Can you log off and try to use your phone? Is that possible? We'll see if that helps, because the delay is crazy at this point. Or Jason, can you text him that? Okay, all right. Yeah, let's try to work that out. Okay, hopefully he I've removed him from the thing. So because otherwise this is just never gonna work out. All right, so here's what I was thinking. I kind of figured this out quite a long time ago that the media is lying to us all. And by what MMA Fix is saying, what Ryan's saying, and what Jason's saying, Jason's always black-pilled. I think the problem may be, and the reason Jason's so black-pilled, and Jason, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think that there is a kind of cycle of being black-pilled, or a cycle of recognizing, not nihilism necessarily, but recognizing how effed up the Democrats are, how effed up the media is, how messed up Washington is, how corrupt these things are. Once you go through that period of realization, at first you're like, oh, everything's darkness, because you're like, oh, I didn't think it was this bad, Once you become accustomed to how bad it is, and you're used to talking about that, like I've been talking about how bad, how corrupt these people are for years now. And I won't want to say you become desensitized to it, but it becomes something that you start to just accept, right? Like, okay, this is the way things work, right? And so what happens after that is then you start to become a little bit optimistic, because you start to go, oh, you know what? Things could get better, and here's how they could get better. And then you start focusing on that. So I think that Jason and I are in different places, and I think that's the reason Jason's so black-pilled, is because he hasn't gotten so accustomed to talking about how evil the left is and how evil the media is, that he's not yet got to the point of looking for the little glimmers of hope. And that's where I am, right? So I've become ultra black-pilled, uber black-pilled over the years, and so now I'm in a place where I can actually look at the glimmers of hope.
I kind of disagree with you. I get what you're saying, but I've been black-pilled for so many years that, and seeing what's happening, that nothing, no glimmer of, I don't see any glimmer of hope. No, even if it's there in my face.
What you're telling us is you're just a nihilistic a-hole.
Pretty much. I just think we've gone beyond the point that we can see, this is my black pill coming out, where we can actually do something to change it, to make it go back, do a 180. I think things just have to get so terribly bad to wake people up, and then maybe, but because it's like a cycle, like we've talked about, it's a cycle. I think every so amount of years, that happens. Like the world goes on fire.
What though, Jason, you're in Miami though. I think in Miami it may be a little bit different than elsewhere. Like I'll give you an example. So like when I was a kid, we talked about this on the 4th of July, right? We talked about how, when we were children, we would go out and we'd have these amazing experiences with the family, or you with the community in New York, or whatever it is. And there's kind of like magical experiences that don't really exist anymore. Like it's almost like that era is gone, But there are new generations of people that come up and kind of have that same experience. Like my family now, like my family used to be my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, and then us cousins, right? That used to be the family. Well, now, my grandparents are long dead. I don't really see my aunts and uncles that often. I certainly don't see my cousins very often. But my family is now that family, right? So my parents are now the grandparents, and my brothers and sisters are now the aunts and uncles, and I am the uncle, really. And then their kids are like the grandkids, like the cousins that we were back then, right? So it's just a new generation of that. And we definitely try to have an enjoyable 4th of July. Obviously, I'm not in America right now, but I'm, texting my family and calling them, and I see what they're doing and everything. And they seem to be having a very similar 4th of July that I had when I was growing up. And my brother took me once when I was back in Oregon, took me to a meetup with like some people from his church. And it was on like a big old property overlooking, the forest, just an absolutely beautiful place. And we're playing like cornhole with like little kids, and people are running around. We're having like barbecue, and there was that sense that we were back in the 1980s in America again. And I just felt like, in certain places, in certain parts of America, there is that old, way of being, that sort of level of morality. and people weren't exactly like they were when I was growing up in the 80s, but there was still that sense of decency. You know, people are watching the football game, and yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was wholesome. It was like a nice, normal family situation with multiple families hanging out, and just, you know, they all go kind of the same church or whatever. And it was just like a bunch of good people. My other brother ended up coming, and yeah, we had a great time. It was great to see the next generation of people trying to continue, I guess, American culture, which I don't think has died out. You just gotta find it, and you live in Miami, so I think it's a little bit more difficult to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, of course, we go all out on those holidays and stuff. Me and my wife, we make sure we bring that to our family, immediate family, you know. So yeah, I agree. You know, it's a weird thing, Miami. Like I said, Miami is like you're South Florida. You're crossing the border. It's like, it's weird. It's America, but yet it's not. You know, it's an extension of Latin America, pretty much. But the thing about the thing about also is, like, it's very easy not to be black pilled here in Miami and Florida, because our state and our city is actually doing very good compared to the rest of the country.
That's true.
You know, so if you weren't attuned to like the news, or if you weren't reading what's going on, and you just lost yourself in this state and in the city, like, you wouldn't know what's going on, because here it's like it's a completely different. Everything is good here. You couldn't tell what's going on. So yeah, but I'm this way because I actually care. You know, if I was a person that didn't care, I can actually get lost, and probably go along with my life, not worrying or not, you know. But I mean, you do see it in little things.
Jason's statement for the show is Chris's optimism indicates he just doesn't care. Demon Slayer has jumped in with $5. He says, I'm so black-pilled, no amount of voting will save this country, sadly, in my opinion. Well, come on, Demon Slayer. I mean, we'll see in November. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, that's really where it counts, is in November. We'll find out. We'll find out if this country really is lost, or that there's a glimmer of hope.
What he's saying there is actually, I'm sorry to say it, but I don't think we're gonna, man. I hope not, but I don't.
Jason, chill out.
Yeah.
November isn't here.
I kind of agree with him.
We don't. Of course, you agree with him. That's not. Yeah. I love how you have to hem and haw about it, like we don't know what you're gonna say. Of course, you're going to agree with him. But look, the point is, we don't actually know, right? We don't actually know. I think that it's possible to beat the cheat. You don't think it's possible to beat the cheat, but neither of us really know. At the end of the day, there's no point in being totally nihilistic or super optimistic, because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know for sure that we're not, that we're going to beat the cheat. I don't know for sure. You shouldn't be going out there saying, "Oh, it's pointless. Voting is pointless."
Hold on. It's not that I think
you make it worse. I think you make it worse.
It's not that I think we can't beat the cheat, because I think we can beat the cheat. But remember, they're, like I've always said, they're relentless. Even if we beat the cheat, they wouldn't stop there. You know, it's.
Yeah, but Jason, we can't stop. They're not going to. Evil never stops.
I agree.
And so we can't.
You know, I say it all the time in the show. Everybody needs to go out and vote. We need to overwhelm it, you know. So
evil never sleeps, so we can't sleep. All right, Stephen Rhodes comes in with $3. He says, the lamestream media, they never disappoint. Yeah, it's pretty funny, man. It's pretty funny. And with that, let's go. I don't know what happened to MMA Fix. He just I don't know if he can't get his phone working or what. Yeah. But let's go ahead and go on to the next story. What do we got here? Hold on. Let me just go through these real quick, because I don't think they are set up appropriately for my thing. I know that doesn't make any sense, but trust me, behind the scenes, it makes sense. All right, let's go ahead and present, share screen. All right, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's look at this one. So I was saying that, like, the media aren't really, they're kind of acting like they're surprised, like, oh, well, Joe Biden has dementia. I'm shocked. I tell you, shocked. Well, apparently, according to this guy Nolte, who I always think is Nick Nolte, and I wish he would stop putting his name at the beginning of his headlines. So annoying. Says Chuck Todd and Jonathan Martin now admit that Democrats worried about Biden's decline for years. So there are two reporters who are actually kind of admitting, I guess, that they knew. In a remarkable exchange on Chuck Todd's podcast this week, both Todd and Politico's Jonathan Martin admitted that high-level Democrats have been saying for years that Joe Biden is in rough mental shape and not up to another term in office. They say that Biden's decline was an open secret and simmering conversation. Well, then why the hell didn't you talk about that before?
Exactly.
Because you were hiding it from us. You were lying to us.
This is that civil war.
But here's the thing about that, right? So I'm doing a video. It should be out by now. I'm sorry that it isn't. It's taking way longer than I wanted to, but it'll be out tomorrow morning. There is this idea that the Democrats have figured out. They're like, oh, okay, how do we spin the debate to make it seem like, oh, even though Biden obviously lost the debate, that how do we make it seem like Biden still won? How do we make it seem like Biden's still okay? How do we make it like Trump didn't really win the debate? Well, we'll say that Trump lied. You see that clip of Joe Biden? And what did Trump do? He lied. You know, you see that?
Yeah.
And they got
Jill,
that freeze frame of her.
Biden, yeah.
Jill, yeah. And but the whole media, like, they went to town with this, right? I don't know what, like, there was like a memo that went out or something. I guess Jill got it first, but everybody took this memo of Trump lied during the debate. Now,
well, no,
I think, yeah.
I think that memo went out before the debate. I said they probably like after the debate, this is what we got to say about Trump.
Okay. A little pedantic, but fair enough. That's probably true. So I went ahead and I did a fact check of the fact check, right? That's a spoiler alert. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the conclusion before I put the video out. But I checked the 50 lies that they said Trump told. Out of the 50 lies that they said Trump told, I found 2. I actually checked 53 fact checks. I found 2 things that I thought, well, maybe Trump could have decided it's better to say this than the truth. They were totally insignificant things, but there's 2 things I could say maybe were a lie from Trump. I went through some Biden stuff. I didn't even go through the whole debate because there was so much. I mean, trying to decipher what Biden's saying is difficult enough. But just going through briefly and just checking some things that other people had fact checked him on, Biden lied at least 9 times during the debate. Trump twice, Biden 9 times. Okay. And, Trump uses a lot of hyperbole. Trump could potentially be mistaken a couple of times. Certainly Biden was mistaken a few times with the stuff he said. Like, I wouldn't call, like when Biden said, I lowered prescription, whatever it is, what it was insulin. He said, I lowered insulin prices to $15. Well, he lowered it to $35. I'm not going to call that a lie. I just think that's Biden's dementia talking. But he did steal that plan from Trump. So in terms of Biden doing it, to me, that was the lie. To me, that was the lie.
The biggest lie. The biggest lie that I think was the worst lie was no military personnel died under him. Like,
that was such a weird thing to say.
It was a messed up thing to say because people did die, and that's so disrespectful to the people that lost their lives.
But what I'm saying, but especially in Afghanistan, that was the really, because that was a botched operation that didn't need to happen. And the reason I'm saying it's a weird thing to say is, like, obviously people are going to fact check you, man. Like, you're just like cutting open the wound. Like, why would you say that? It's like the craziest thing for him to say, like the worst lie for him to say.
Yeah.
Now, Trump also said that there was no terrorism while he was president. And that was one of the lies that I was able to determine of Trump's, because there's no way that he doesn't remember there was acts of terrorism when he was president. It was kind of a weird thing to say. And I go ahead and I discussed it in the video, and I explained what I think he meant and what he was trying to say. But yeah, you can't just say there was no terrorism during my presidency if there was terrorism. In the same way, I don't know why Biden said that. Like, what a dumb thing to say. I don't know. The terrorism thing to me is a lot less significant because with Biden, you had that botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Of course, people are going to talk about that. It's just dumb. It's just a dumb lie to
what was
tell.
it? 13 people was it? Or I think it was 13 people that died in one.
There's 13 people. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Explosion. Like, I mean, that's for me. That pissed me off when he said that. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, just disregarding.
Well, I think the most egregious lie was the one that was exposed during the debate, which is that Joe Biden's team, his administration, the Democrats in Washington, D.C., and the mainstream media have all been lying to you for years about Joe Biden's mental health. Okay, that was the headline of this debate, is that Biden has been exposed as a liar about his mental health, and everybody else around him and the whole mainstream media. And it's not just a lie. This is a conspiracy. This is huge. And the message the Democrats want to tell you from the debate is that Trump's the liar? Really? You want to convince us that Trump's the liar when you've just been exposed as the biggest liars of all?
Their classic their classic tactic, projection.
That's right. I always say it's such a beautiful quote. I don't remember where I got it, but I got it from somebody. Every accusation is a confession with the Democrats. Every accusation is a confession. All right, perfect. Stephen Rhodes jumped in with $5 and he wrote, Trump gets elected, take that to the bank, but only if you get out there and vote. Complacency is not an option. That's my point. That's why I don't like people saying like we can't win because the votes will be rigged or whatever. It'll be rigged. We got Dame Piglet in here. She says, I sure missed y'all. Well, we missed you too, Dame Piglet. We love seeing that that beautiful cowboy hat that you got there in your image.
I was speaking with Dame Piglet. No, it wasn't Dame Piglet.
Oh, really?
Scrap Chat. No,
there's two Dames now. Yeah, it gets confusing. Yeah, two Dames.
Sorry,
two Dames. All right, we got. Oh, what a beautiful black T-shirt. You look like who's that guy from America? America's Got Talent.
Simon Cowell.
It's a Simon Cowell shirt. I have the same one. The black T-shirt.
Is that any better? I think it's coming in okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, your audio is absolutely terrible. But
how's the delay though?
Take it over. Yeah, the delay's great. The delay's great.
No, that's fine. I can fix the. Hold on, I can fix that.
I think. But anyway, I think we're good now. I think we're good now.
There's no delay, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah, as long as the audio. I mean, if the audio's from me, I can just put these suckers back on, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. I mean, those will probably do better, but yeah, it's all good. Well, yeah, I'm much happier with this situation. All right, so we had discussed a couple of news stories, but we'll go on to the next one. How's that? What do you think, Jason? Should we go on to the next one?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, we got MMA Fix back in. We fixed the problems with MMA Fix.
Congress to freaking get this damn permissions thing to go through.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, so hold on. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. Okay, there's a new poll out. It says majority of voters believe that Joe Biden is not really in charge. This is crazy to me. Like, this is the kind of crap. Like, what's crazy to me is that like people like me, Sebastian Gorka, obviously, even people like Tucker Carlson. So many people in the media, Dinesh D'Souza, just all of us have been saying for years now, basically ever since Joe Biden started his presidency, that he is a puppet president, that he's not really in charge because he's too senile. He's too, he's got dementia or whatever it is, maybe Parkinson's something. And he's also compromised. He's compromised by China. He's compromised by Ukraine. He's compromised by the FBI. Everybody can control Joe Biden. And now we finally have like a majority of voters who accept what we're saying here, which is absolutely fantastic. I feel like the debate really changed everything. That debate really changed everything.
But I read this article and the thing that it doesn't surprise me, but what we were talking about earlier, this is a perfect example of that. Like you go down to the article and you'll read, it says Democrats have more faith in Biden's mental and physical fitness than Republicans and unaffiliated voters. The survey found 74% of Democrats are at least somewhat confident that Biden is up to the job. What does that tell you? I mean, like, after everything that's happened, after they witnessed it with their own eyes, there's no doubting it. They still think he's the right person for the job.
Well, sometimes in these polls, sometimes they just say they lie. Basically, I think.
I don't think it's a lie. I don't think. I mean, these people are crazy. These people are nuts.
So we got a $2 super chat here from MMA Fix, and he writes, "This guest kind of sucks."
MMA Fix, I have to agree with you. No.
No, this is messed up. I'm gonna kick this guy out of the chat. I'm sorry about that, Ryan. What a
I don't know who
douchebag.
that guy is, but yeah, boot him.
You know what's funny about that? I do it literally the exact same joke. If somebody posts like a video of me and they're like I think a while back, Wall Street Apes or something like that posted my AOC video, and I wrote in there, I'm like, who is this a-hole? He seems kind of gay or something like that. I don't remember what I wrote. And people were going in like defending me. They're like, what the hell's your problem? Like, what's your problem? This guy's cool, I'm just like,
yeah.
I was like,
well, this is the big secret. I secretly steal all of Chris's jokes. That's all my material. He's done so much great things that he forgets that he actually made most of these jokes before.
That's why I love you. Yeah. That's why I love you, because it's all my jokes coming back.
Chris, can you lower his volume a little bit?
It's kind of intense. Hold on, let me try to lower it.
Oh, damn, yeah. I knew the mic you said it wasn't coming in good, so I'm trying to project a little bit.
No, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. It's too aggressive. But I'm turning it down. All right. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, let's get what was the news story that we're doing? Hold on.
The poll on
the poll. So yeah, what do you think, Ryan? Do you think people are starting to wake up? Do you think people are starting to figure out what the hell's going on here?
Listen, clearly our amazing president, he has everything under control. We're worrying over nothing. Who are you going to believe? The president of this great country or your lying eyes?
Exactly.
That's another thing that I like to say. All right, hold on. Dame Frodo Lives, the person that you have been talking to, actually, has jumped in and she said, "Too funny. Yeah, they need to bring back. They need to bring that other Dame back, JK." Yeah. She wants to come back on the show. That's pretty funny. We love it. We love you. We love you. We think you were an awesome guest as well, actually. But okay, let's move on to the next story. Yeah, she was fantastic. Yeah. I feel like it was funny, actually. Ryan, after Dame Frodo Lives was on the show, Ryan was like, "I don't think I should come on next week. Maybe we should postpone it." I can't follow that. I thought it was pretty funny. All right, let's move on to the next. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
You said that.
What's that?
Well, you said it. I stole it.
Yeah. I forget. All of your jokes are stolen from me, of course. Weeks after fundraiser for Biden, George Clooney pens New York Post. Op-ed, New York Times op-ed dumping on him. Yeah, this was really shocking to me. I was actually, because I read through a little bit of it, and he's basically like, Joe Biden cannot function. Like, he basically said, when I met him, he was not the old Joe Biden that we all remember from, vice presidential days. He's like, he was the Joe Biden that you saw in the debate. And that to me is pretty brutal,
but, You know what's the important take on this article? Is that it proves that him walking off stage like that was not a cheap fake, because Clooney admits that he realized it
on the day. Yeah.
Yep. So
that was an on the day thing.
Yep.
Dame Frodo Lives jumps in. She says, Obama's revenge. He hates Biden. Yeah, because Clooney's really an Obama guy. He's not really a Biden guy.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, all of the Biden people are really Obama people. I mean, if you think about it, nobody who really likes Biden likes Biden. They all like Obama. And Biden was Obama's vice president. So they're bringing in Biden because of their nostalgia for Obama. They really want Obama. It's really what they want. So now that people are starting to kind of maybe get that Obama doesn't really like Biden, I think now maybe people are starting to switch. It's funny. I was saying that I feel like there's two factions in the deep state. There's the faction that says, we actually need Biden because Biden is the perfect puppet. We can control him. We can pull the strings. He does whatever we tell him to do. you know, we move this string here and his hand signs the document, whatever it is. But then there's the faction that says, but he can't win though. So like we need to swap him out. And it occurred to me that there was somebody within the deep state who used to be a we need to keep Biden in guy, and he switched to no, we need to get Biden out guy. And that's why you've got all the media going against Biden. That's why you got some Hollywood celebrities going after Biden. And it just occurred to me that that guy might be Barack Obama.
Yeah, you know, all these celebrities now saying all this. I just think they feel like they were forced to like Biden. You know, it was their thing. Like, this is the next guy. You have to say good things about him. And I think they didn't like it at first because I don't think anybody really supported Biden when he ran the first time. I think it was just something that I guess during the debate showed that he was like the best one to actually go against Trump or something like that, because the other candidates on the podiums were terrible. So I just think they were forced, you know, and I think now they're like, no, I'm not going to hide this anymore. I'm not going to be forced into this. You know, we're going to lose. We need to get somebody that's capable of winning, defeating Trump, you know, and I'm not going to follow this game anymore. That's what I think is happening with these celebrities and stuff.
Dame Piglet jumped in. She says, even Jill hates Joe Biden, obviously. That's pretty funny. I did meet George Clooney once when I was in Hollywood. He had an office like across from where I was working, and he drove one of these like little teeny tiny electric cars. You remember back in the day, like one of the early electric cars was like a 1-seater, or in like people would just get in, and it was like the weirdest little thing. Yeah. And he was talking to a bunch of us. We were kind of standing there, just kind of hanging out, me and some of the crew guys. And he's like, hey, you guys, I got this new car. You guys check this out. It's amazing. It goes like from 0 to 60 in like, 5 seconds or something. I don't know. And he hits the gas and he just goes, there's like no noise because it's not gas, it's electric, right? So he just goes, wee, and he like drives off. And it was like the fun, and we're just all like laughing at him and stuff like that. But yeah, it was the only time I ever met George Clooney. But actually, he was a reasonably nice guy at the time. MMA Fix, what is your take on George Clooney? Are you a big fan of the man? Are you in love with the work of George Clooney and his Ocean's 11 buddies?
Listen, I try my best. It's tough sometimes, but I try my best to separate the person from the craft. Right. If that was the case, I would probably take issue with way too many people. And I don't need that in my life, or I'm going right back to being black-pilled. So, am I his biggest fan? No, but I will say, as bad as the movie it was, he was Batman. And, I was 9 or 10 at the time, so...
Wow. Yeah.
Is there a little bit of nostalgia in that movie for me?
Yeah,
that's too funny, man.
There was a funny meme with Biden with what do you call the Biden with the red eyes? Brandon, something Brandon.
Dark Brandon.
Yeah, and in the bottom he said it says Clooney was the worst Batman. and it's I thought that was funny. That was a pretty good meme.
Nice to meet you. All the cold.
And Uma Thurman was pretty attractive at the time. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was at the height of Uma Thurman's popularity. I think it was before Kill Bill, but it was after Pulp Fiction. So I think everybody was kind of like Uma Thurman's the new cool thing. What was weird about Uma Thurman? She never really broke out beyond Tarantino movies. She was in two hugely popular Tarantino movies, and there's nothing else she did that really got traction in the same way. I don't feel like
you didn't hear the story that she was traumatized in the movie with Tarantino, the Kill Bill.
Kill Bill,
of course she nearly died. Yeah. So I think that had an effect on her.
Maybe. Yeah, she was in some pretty terrible movies, but she was kind of like a hot thing for a little while, and yeah, she got to play Poison Ivy in the worst Batman film ever made. I will say that the other one, Batman and Robin, was also pretty horrible. People don't remember that one as being as bad.
No, I
was that
one?
I think
Batman that's the one that you're talking about. That was you're probably thinking Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. It's equally as bad. I feel like.
Who? Okay, this is off subject. Who's your favorite Batman?
I have to say Adam West. Adam West. I gotta go with
Michael.
You know what? I forgot about Adam West.
I love Keaton. I love
Michael
Keaton, but
that's
come
mine.
on. I love Adam West.
When they picked Michael Keaton, when they picked
I'm a Christian Bale fan.
When they picked Michael Keaton, I was like, no, that's a horrible choice. But then when I saw the movie, I was like, actually, he was pretty good. He brought this like.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, in terms of charisma, I think Michael Keaton wins. But Adam West had the look.
Yeah. No, Adam West was great.
Really
I love that Batman. I grew up with that Batman. Adam West Batman.
And actually, if you go back and watch episodes of the original like Spider-Man TV show from the 70s, and I feel like that was Peter Parker. You know, 'cause I'm old. I'm older than you guys. Well, I'm not older than Jason.
No, I agree. Like those Spider. Yes, you're right. I never
that
saw
was Peter Parker.
Like Tobey Maguire never did it for me, man. He had this weird beady eyes that were like just creeped me out.
I don't want to hear about your sexual fetishes, Jason, but no, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
never
they brought him in because he kind of looks like an insect. I feel like because he had that kind of insect eyes.
It's just weird.
So I never
weirded
really
me
got
out.
that,
Yeah.
All the Spider-Man,
especially in the third
actors
one, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah. No, I feel like all the Spider-Man actors that they've chosen since Tobey Maguire, they've all been a little too young, in my view. They have always seemed a little bit too young. Like the 1970s Batman, that guy seemed like he was 40 years old, but he was still going to high school, I think.
Yeah. But remember back then, everybody looked older. So you were like 20, and you looked like you were 30 years old.
But if you look at that, if you look at the old Spider-Man comics, and you look at that, like how he looked in the Spider-Man comics, and then you look at the 1970s Peter Parker, it's the same guy. I mean, they cast the perfect guy. That guy was perfect. Nobody knows about that, but maybe our audience does because
people are saying MMA Fix's volume is still blown out and they could hardly understand him.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of headphones you have, but you need to buy new ones. Okay, he's pretending that okay, so all right, let's get rid of this one. Let's start with the next story. I don't even know what it is. I'm going to be surprised with the rest.
Oh, wait, you didn't see the part 2 of Clooney? He came back.
Oh, yeah. God, you really want to stick with this for that long? Yeah. George? Okay.
No, you're right.
Joe Biden feud enters round 2. You want to do the round 2 thing?
You're right.
Okay, so in the piece, he calls for Joe Biden to step down. And then, I don't know, there's a part 2. Do you remember what this is? I didn't even read this one.
We can move on. You're right. I'm over it.
Yeah, it's a little too much Clooney, I think, for us.
Yeah.
All right, stop screen, present, share screen. What do we get next? Okay, this is horrible. But this is the reason I love that you posted this story actually is because this is a Mr. Reagan I told you so moment. 2 Democrat senators asked DOJ to seek criminal investigation of Justice Clarence Thomas. And AOC has actually come out with articles of impeachment for Clarence Thomas and Alito, I believe. 2 justices. Let me jump in here. Stephen Rhodes has jumped in. He says, on a somewhat related note, Deadpool is officially out of the closet.
Well, I don't know if that. I hope that's not true, but I mean the overtones of that in the movies. I mean, it kind of like when you watch the Deadpool movies.
Yeah,
it can be very gay at times.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah, no, I know. So, but I'm saying like it is. I don't know if that one's attached to Disney. I think that one's attached to Fox. The Deadpool
he's married. He's married. He's married. At best, he's bisexual. All right. So, listen,
when did that stop Hollywood from changing something?
Right. Oh, maybe he means the comic book Deadpool. We'd have to look into that. So, 2 Democrat senators asked DOJ to seek criminal investigation justice. So here's the reason why I called this. Early on, I predicted that they were going to charge Donald Trump with crimes. I thought that this was beyond the pale. I thought that this was so obvious corruption that it was difficult for me to accept my own prediction. But it turned out to be true. They did, in fact, charge Donald Trump with crimes in a kangaroo court. Obviously, he was found guilty and potentially will go to prison. This, to me, is like Soviet Union-style stuff. I think even Democrat voters are like, can we slow down here a second? What the hell are we doing, right? But I also predicted that it was likely that the Supreme Court would overturn any convictions of Donald Trump because it's obviously BS. Okay. And so how do the Democrats then fix this problem? How do they then solve this problem of the Supreme Court potentially exonerating Donald Trump or flipping these convictions? The only way they can do it is to somehow discredit the court, or to go after the court in some way. So I made the prediction that they would essentially try to demonize the court to such a degree that the American people would accept the Democrats disregarding Supreme Court rulings, right? And so now this is how you do it, right? You set up like a lawsuit, you file criminal charges, you impeach these guys. So they're going after these guys, all guns blazing. I knew this was going to happen. And to me, this is again, this is an instance of the Democrats going, you know what? Who cares about our Constitution? Who cares about our system of government? Who cares about the rights of the voters to actually have their voices heard here? What we want is to rule over everything. And we're going to find a way to do that any way we can do that, any kind of lawfare. You think this trial of Justice Clarence Thomas is going to be legitimate? Yeah, get real. Go watch the trial of Donald Trump. So I don't know. This disgusts me, but it's totally predictable. It's
absolutely.
You knew that's what they were going to do.
I'm not going to say much. I'm going to leave it to MMA Fix, but I agree with you 100%. And that's what I was saying. Like, there's no going back. Can't do a 180 right now. The Democrats, they don't care. They're willing to destroy everything this country stand for. All our structures that we built, the court system, the checks and balances. They're willing to destroy all, like you said, just to have control over everybody, control over the people, where they can't lose anymore. They're trying to get rid of the possibility of losing, of being defeated.
Yeah, because they know they're going to be. All right, Ryan, what are you thinking? Give us the sports breakdown with your sportscaster headset.
Well, let's just be
honest.
Much better. Black lives don't matter if you have an R next to your name. That's all that. It's just a repeat of the same thing. It's like no. They all push these points, but the second we find it's ridiculous, it's okay because they vote the wrong way. You can't make this up. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right. I would go as far as to say one of the, if not the best justice, and look what they're berating him to, because he doesn't. He's the wrong shade and votes the wrong way. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Exactly. 100%.
Clarence Thomas is a class act. Actually, he's a really good man. If you ever hear him speak or interviews or anything, really good guy, good man. And this idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't defeat him on his ideas. Like the Democrats, they cannot defeat him on his ideas. Like they have to play these tactics because they'll never win.
And what they're arguing, actually, I don't know if people are following this that closely, but what they're essentially arguing is that Clarence Thomas had a couple of friends who were rich, who had quite a lot of money, and they would be like, "Hey, why don't you and your wife? Why don't you come with us on a trip?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, that's cool. We'll come hang out with you." And they're essentially at this point, they're like, you're not allowed to have rich friends and go hang out with your rich friends. If your friend's house is too big and you go and you have lunch at your friend's house, this is illegal because your friend paid for the food and it was like a little bit too nice.
You can't do what we do.
Caviar. Yeah, exactly. You can't do what we do. And that's the craziest thing because look, these people in Congress, they get so much of their crap paid for. They're flying everywhere on private jets. You think they're paying that out of their pocket? No, we're paying for that. We pay for AOC to fly in her private jet everywhere. If she needs to take a private jet somewhere, I think that's a taxpayer thing, right? They expense that. They expense all their stuff. Like AOC pays for nothing, right?
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi pays for nothing. They get everything the expenses. Oh, this is an expense of the American people, obviously, because this is in the line of my job. And therefore, we need to fix that. We need to fix it so that Congress has to pay all their own crap.
Yep.
right? No longer does the American taxpayer pay for any of your stuff. We don't pay for your travel. You pay it out of your own pocket. Okay. Maybe we give them a slight raise and then no expenses, because let me tell you, their expenses are probably double what they get paid, if not more than that. And then on top of that, they're making money off of their kickbacks and other corruption and crime. So we obviously need to fix that as well.
I say no pay, zero pay. They have to do it on their own. Then you'll really get actual people that want to do something for the country. You know?
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. The only people that really are running, especially on the Democrat side right now for political office, are people that understand that they can rip off the system. I think the only exception to that was like AOC. I don't think she really understood that when she came into office, but she has become one of them for sure, 100%. That's my thought on that. All right.
Yeah.
Here's
the young Turks went off on her, on AOC for promoting Biden now. Like, she's supporting Biden. They went off on her. Isn't that?
Oh, and didn't
they start her career?
Basically, yeah. I mean, they were teamed up with this group called Justice Democrats, who was originally Brand New Congress.
It's all in your great video.
By a guy named Zach Exley. Yeah.
I remember it was a bit old, but you did a whole video on that.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
That was sort of like the video that made me famous a little bit, actually. Yeah.
But yeah.
So RNC,
go back and watch it. It was pretty damn good.
Oh, thank you, sir. RNC Research jumps out with this tweet. They say, breaking: almost every single Democrat just voted to protect the ability of illegal aliens to vote in our election. Yeah, we had this was a really big story a couple days ago. We had a bill. The Republicans put forth a bill that basically said you cannot vote if you're an illegal immigrant, illegal alien, and the Democrats were just like, no, we don't. Let's go ahead and, I mean, I don't know if you want to actually hear this, but no, almost all the Democrats voted no.
Yep.
And here's the thing: Biden said that even if it passes,
he's gonna veto. Yep.
He's gonna veto it. And it's like,
yep.
Oh yeah, you can't have any kind of accountability. You can't have it. I mean, I think Elon Musk has tweeted about this quite a bit. It's like they're basically now openly saying we want election fraud. We want illegal aliens to vote in the elections. We don't want any kind of we want nothing. We don't want any kind of check to make sure that the election is fair.
This is clear proof why they wanted to let all these illegal aliens into this country. This is clear proof. They want to rig the election. This was the whole point. That's why they swamped the. I was gonna say that's why they swamped the border, you know, with illegals, because this is their goal. And this vote actually proves it. This was actually smart by the Republicans to do, because it actually shows the truth. What's the reasoning behind
exactly
them
such
supporting
a smart
that?
thing, because you knew they were going to do it as well. All right,
even
Ryan,
if it doesn't pass, it doesn't matter, because this shows like the truth.
Yeah, well, I think they knew it was going to pass. Ryan, I got a question for you. Are you one of these crazy conspiracy theorists that actually thinks that the 2020 election was not perfect? Be careful what you say, because if you say it wasn't perfect, then you are a racist.
Well, seeing this is just between us and nobody else is listening, I think I can maybe
don't worry, MAA Fix. Nobody watches our show.
Well,
it's true.
At least a couple more than watch me. So, you know what? Your videos were actually perfectly all the evidence you spilled out. I was kind of on the fence of, you know, the whole, what's the delineation people talk about, whether it was rigged versus whether it was stolen, and they try to make a clear delineation. Wait,
hold on, I've never heard that. How is there a difference?
So some people depending on the media, depending on what side you're on. So some people are saying, well, rigged is different from stolen. Rigged just means you did something unethical to stack it in your favor. Whether or not that would have helped you would delineate whether it was stolen or not. Because you could cheat and still lose. You could cheat.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
You didn't cheat. So really, that was the whole point where I was kind of on the fence. Where yes, they absolutely just you don't have to go any further than the pizza box videos that nobody claims. They're like, what are you talking about? But only the Republicans have seen the videos and go, yeah, that right there, that's all you need to point to. But everybody just turns the other way and say, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen such evidence. But that's
a very good point, actually. Yeah, 2016 was rigged. 2020 was rigged and stolen.
Exactly. And I know, I'm sure even people in the chat are going to have their a few differences on, okay, this versus that, or semantics, or whatever the case may be. But it all came down to the laptop, Hunter Biden's laptop. That, for me, that was it, where even people self-admittedly who voted for Biden said, oh, yeah, had that not been suppressed, I would have absolutely voted the other way. And we actually, assuming the polls are accurate, those are the numbers that tip the scale. So it's, I don't know.
Well, you're talking about election shenanigans, which wouldn't necessarily be illegal, but it would certainly be unethical. No, I think that there was actually.
It wouldn't be illegal if, again, with the whole thing that was coming out in the Congress hearings, whether it was this pushed by the government, because private company, blah blah blah, but you can't have a private company acting upon the government. You're just a hand of the government. You can't do that.
Well, it certainly was. I mean, the FBI was definitely pushing them.
Definitely stolen for me. They definitely stole it. It was a coup that happened on election.
No, I think there was a direct. I think there was fraudulent ballots, and I think that was done intentionally by certain unethical players that actually brought in fake ballots and somehow lost some Trump ballots. But Big Lou 85 gives us $10 and he says, dang, I already missed half the story time with Chris. I'll catch the beginning later. Yeah, I do like to go into my story time. I told some stories about some bad customer service today. I've told some stories about George Clooney, all kinds of fun stuff.
You know what? Like, what was a big one for me was all of a sudden when we go to sleep, all of a sudden 600 ballots show up overnight, and they're all for Biden. Come on.
There was the big F curve, where Joe Biden was doing worse than Trump, and then suddenly he's doing better. There's a big spike. There was 85 million votes or whatever that Joe Biden got, which was obviously BS. And so there's those obvious indications from the very beginning that something. We don't really have the smoking gun, though. That's a really frustrating thing. We've got a lot of little bits and pieces here and there evidence, but we don't have that smoking gun of we can prove. Because the thing is, people will say well, we have enough smoking guns, Chris. There's 20 smoking guns. They're only smoking guns for us. They're only evidence that is so obvious that conservatives believe that the election was stolen. It's not evidence that's big enough to show Democrat voters the election was stolen. That's what you need.
Well, right? It wasn't really. But it wasn't really allowed to. They really didn't allow it to. They stopped it.
But to prove my point, there is a certain point that Democrat voters will believe us. But it has to be something that's so obvious, like the debate performance. The debate performance is a perfect.
Did you just not see that poll? You're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Wow. I don't.
Do not scoff at me, Jason, on my own show, you dick. I am making a point. Listen to the point and then respond. Okay. The point is, look what happened with the debate performance, right? We've been saying for years that Joe Biden has dementia, that he's senile, right? Democrats are like, no, he has a stutter. It's just a stutter, guys. You're mean to say that he's got dementia when he's just got a stutter. Then the debate comes out and people go, oh, crap. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. So the Democrat
for a second until Trump just went.
Yeah.
I thought my phone was frozen or something happened, and I'm like, nope.
Trump doing this was one of the most hardcore. Just turning to Biden twice, what are you trying to say there, buddy? That look was the killer look. I don't even think Trump had to say it. And then
one of the greatest debate moments ever, I think, in history.
Just him looking over.
Just the look. Yeah.
Just the look. And then he comes back with, look, I don't know what he said there at the end. I don't think he knows what he said. I mean, that was just boom, mic drop. You knew that was going to be like the quote of the night. Later on, he said, which I thought was actually even better, but people kind of dismissed this. He said, look, I don't even really want to run again.
Yeah.
I have to. I would love it if this guy was a good president, but he's not a good president. So now I have to run.
That was great.
I just thought, oh, that was cold, man.
Yep.
But people didn't like that as much as the other. I don't think he knows what he said, which is hardcore. Dame Frodo Lives jumps in. She says, so what if they do it again? Well, of course they're going to do it again. You mean what if they're able to win? We don't discuss that on this show, Dame Frodo Lives, because that could get our show banned. Okay. Julie R, $4.99 says, switched to the presser for a minute. He did slightly better than debate night, but not much. Can't wait to hear the spin the press puts on it. Okay, so yeah, he did what they were calling a big boy interview, a big boy press conference, I think they're calling it. Big boy press conference. Did you hear them talk about this? They're like, oh, it's a big boy press conference.
It's wild.
Why would they say that? I guess
I think
quote from a reporter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think from what I heard, a reporter said that, so they're kind of like mocking it. I think they're kind of trying to use it
but
against.
nobody. That's the weird thing. They live in such a effing bubble. They don't realize none of the rest of us heard the big boy comment, and so now they're introducing us to the. They're introducing it to us, and we're like, and it just sounds ridiculous.
But Chris, that picture of his staff, writing staff, come on. That says it all right there.
Oh, we should have posted that. Oh, that's such a good. I wonder if I think I have that somewhere.
I mean, look at those people. Obviously, they'll do something stupid like that.
Hold on. I'm going to fight. Ryan, you talk for a second. You control the show for a minute there, Ryan.
This is Ducey's moment, his mic drop moment all over again. I'm hearing his voice just going, why is everybody president like a baby? Like,
right. Yeah, that was such a good. That was a brilliant thing.
It's another moment you just can't make up. You're like, did I hear that right? This is the president, not talking about some child.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. Okay, so here's the picture. Now, here's what's fascinating to me that I don't think anybody caught except for me. I said DEI illustrated perfectly by the Biden administration. Apparently, this is Biden's speechwriting staff. The two white guys in the top right corner over here, they're the only two people in the photo that are actually working while the diversity hires are all goofing off. Like, to me, this illustrates DEI better than anything I've ever seen in my life. Yes, there's a white guy over here, but he's obviously gay. Look at him.
Yeah.
Everybody here is a diversity hire. Nobody is doing any work. They're all smiling for the camera, having fun. This black chick over here, even these two guys are just like head down in the computer, diligently typing out Biden's next speech, trying to figure out how to save this guy's butt because Trump's going to win. And these guys are all like, let's get a picture, guys. You even got Karine Jean-Pierre in the back there. Oh my gosh.
That picture sums up the like Democratic Party right there. Like
perfectly.
White, liberal, lefty women, very young, stupid minority males, and that hasn't gone through experiences in their life yet.
It perfectly sums it up. And that these chicks, they're basically just they probably think they work really hard, but almost nothing that they do is actually, and they've all got imposter syndrome. You know why? Because they're not actually qualified for the jobs that they have.
Yep.
They think that they are, but they're not good. You ever meet anybody who works really hard in their job but's never actually able to accomplish anything significant?
Yeah.
Because they're just not very good at it. Like if I went, because like I've always been pretty athletic since I was a kid, but I'm really not that good at sports, if I'm honest. Like if I try to shoot baskets, I'm pretty crap at shooting baskets. Like if I joined the NBA, I could work my butt off to be the best player in the world, and I would never be any good. Like I would always let the team down. I would be an embarrassment, but I would work my heart out. I think all of these girls are that.
Yes.
They're useless. They cannot do their job, but they have these really, really high level jobs, and they get paid probably hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And you know who does the work? Those two guys in the corner. That's it. Those are the only two guys probably that do anything for these guys. Anyway, Ryan, what do you have to say about Biden's diversity hires?
Well, first of all, Chris, don't sell yourself short with your athleticism. I bet you can Muay Thai kick the hell out of somebody. So there, I give props to you. Second of all, merit is dead.
Yep.
Do we need any more proof?
Yeah. Fair enough.
You got to have one smart guy, so your company can keep going. But the rest of it is just
exactly
poster board.
That's what it is. And actually, what's funny is at least in the private sector, there's some level of accountability typically, because if you don't have everybody working well, the company's going to suffer. Yeah. Now, again, at the top of the show, Jason and I discussed there's sort of an exception for Black women now. But for most people, there is some level of accountability. But in the federal government, they've got a monopoly. There is no federal government to compete with our federal government. So if you bring these people in and just pay them a crap ton of money, there's no reason why you would ever fire them. Like, unless the public was like, why are you wasting our money on these losers? And like, you really thought you would not be elected again because the public would be so outraged by that. You're never going to fire them. You're just going to keep paying them to do nothing. The monopoly of the federal government is dangerous.
They have to be so bad, or else they're essentially safe. Yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? They know those people in that picture aren't doing anything. It's all about the optics. Some genius there thought, let's do a picture like this and show how diverse and how many women we have are so-called working on the writing team. But they don't they do these things and they don't realize how bad it looks. This is how bad the people they have working for them is just I don't know, they didn't they don't think. Like, that picture just says a million things.
They're not just bad at their job, they're also too dumb to pretend that they're good at their job.
Yes.
That's what Jason's trying to say here.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next point. All right. This is interesting. So the Biden campaign has commissioned. This is actually amazing. A Trump versus Kamala Harris poll. So basically, the Biden campaign has gone.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think Biden can win. So what are other options? Okay, what if Kamala Harris is the nominee? How is she going to do against Trump? Let me tell you, I don't know what the poll revealed, but it's not going to be good for Kamala. No, she is less popular than Joe Biden, if you can believe that. She always polls worse than him. Everyone hates her. But let's have a look. The Biden-Harris campaign has reportedly commissioned an internal poll to gauge how Vice President Kamala Harris would perform as the Democrat nominee versus former President Donald Trump. New York Times reported on the development Thursday. Why did I read that as Tuesday? I don't know. Citing 3 anonymous sources who are informed about it. The report comes as musings on the left about replacing Biden at the top of the ticket continue in the aftermath of his disastrous debate performance, which sent shockwaves to the Democrat Party. Blah 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 blah. But they don't tell you how the poll turned out,
because I don't think they've done it yet. But I was looking at this. I was reading this article, and I was thinking it's bad for Biden. This is they're working their process to get rid of Biden. And then I was like, wait a minute, no. This actually is good for Biden, because the poll is going to show how bad Kamala does, and it's going to show, okay, tell people, no, we need to stick with Biden, So
brilliant observation.
Yeah,
brilliant
so it's actually the opposite of what I was thinking when I was reading it. And then I finally realized, wait, hold on, this is actually smart by them.
So Ryan, we haven't actually asked you yet. Do you think that they're going to replace Biden or not? Is Biden going to drop out?
I honestly thought they were going to. The longer they take, the more I'm going to think that they're not going to pull them at the 11th hour. But never say never. This administration never ceases to surprise me with usually how stupid they can be, or some of the dumb, impulsive decisions. But at this point, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they did. But I think it's less and less obvious the more time that goes by, especially when he's still out there saying, "Oh, I've decided to stay," and whatever the hell he said in his last speech to try to convince people he was sticking around.
Yeah.
Well, people in the chat are saying he did. I read one guy said he did much better than the debate in this whatever press conference he had now.
Yeah, they had him juiced up on whatever he normally takes. Look, I have predicted since the beginning that they're going to keep Biden in because he's the perfect puppet. I've been saying that for ages. Sebastian Gorka believes that The reason that Joe Biden hasn't left yet is that he's waiting for a payout from his paymasters, whoever it is in the deep state that has the money or the resources or whatever it might be to pay off Joe Biden and his family. He thinks that there needs to be some kind of deal made. They get millions of dollars. They get immunity. Like they get what do you call it? Pardons for every crime ever potentially committed. And they get to go scot-free and just like right off into the sunset. That's his theory. I think it's actually a very good theory. But I also like my theory that he's the perfect puppet and they'll never get rid of him. So we'll see how it goes. I think at this point, even the people who love him as the perfect puppet are like kind of panicking a little bit because I think they're like, okay, we definitely had our money on Biden from this debate performance. I think we may have like screwed the pooch on this, but it's too late now. We just have to be all in on Biden. So I think at this point, the only reason to stay on Biden is just because they have stayed on Biden and it's too late. So because I think at least in 3 states, you can't even replace him now. So there's 3 swing states in which these are not just normal states. These are 3 swing states in which Biden cannot be replaced on the ballot. So how are they even going to do that? I mean, there probably is going to be some like legal machinations that can happen to make that work, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're done. I think the left is done unless they are able to cheat enough.
That's
That's what
I was gonna say. Like they know something's up. This is what got me. Go ahead.
I told you this before. I think the only way they can do it is to cheat so big that we see it, and they're just like, we don't care.
Yep.
That's always been my
I agree.
Biggest concern.
They're practically doing things. Your point is correct because they're practically doing things now where people are obviously seeing it and it's just they're just giving everybody a big middle finger, like we don't care.
Even the Trump court cases are so obviously corrupt. And what's weird to me is that there are many Democrats like on X going, Trump is a convicted felon. And you're like, really? You think that this is like a good point for you to make right now? Like he's a convicted felon in an obviously corrupt court case and an obviously rigged trial. Like you think this is like a winning point for you? But anyway, the left is crazy. They'll say anything. All right, let's move on to the next one. Nancy Pelosi denies report that she privately says Biden can't win. This to me is very weird because she's essentially saying, no, I am an idiot. I would never say anything intelligent in private. She should just kind of like let it go. But I don't know. What do you think about this, Jason? Did you read this story?
I think the whatchamacallit, the dripping of the insiders coming out. It's kind of like what they did with Trump while he was president. Just all this bad publicity. Like it's happening now to Biden. So it's those things that make me think like actually what we talked about, like there's there's a civil war going on. And
in the background. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just like waiting to see what happens during the convention, the Democrat convention.
It's such a good point. It's so great to watch the left eat each other. Big Lou 85 jumped in. He says Biden resembles their dead voters too much. They can't replace him. That's hilarious. It's relatable for the voters in the grave. I love that. MMA Fix, what do you think of this story about Nancy Pelosi pretending that she didn't say that Biden can't win in private?
No, I actually can't believe the last thing that you just said because it was exactly what I was coming to. Was the left will eat.
I told you take all my jokes, you take all my points. I understand how it is.
Yeah, that's the only one you can't prove. So I just kind of admitted it.
Right, exactly.
The left, they'll always eat their own. Going back, actually, I think you're right when you had said, because I had just forgot a point that I failed to mention earlier. Biden, regardless of how many people say that he can't win, I think Biden will stand for the sole reason that has anybody seen all the Obama ads that have been being pushed saying we got to push Biden and Kamala, even $5 donate, we can turn this around. And it's like when they're pulling out the big fish for Obama, I don't think they're going to have him do all that and then just go, you know what, let's switch him.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. And actually,
yes,
Obama has voiced his concern for Biden privately. I mean, those leaks have definitely come out. Tucker Carlson reported on that.
100%.
I mean,
No, 100%. So when they're doing that now, I don't think there was obviously discussion. Obviously, everybody, whether it be Pelosi, Obama, probably 100 other people, when they're starting to push these ads, that's when I'm starting to think they're just like, well, let's see what we can do. Got to get the big goldfish Obama out there to try to get those voters that are on the fence, because you bring him in. Just like you had said,
Yeah.
that's the only reason people voted for him. It was because he was Obama's VP and he wasn't Trump. Those are the only two reasons anybody voted for Biden.
I love that you call Obama the big goldfish. I think we need to start calling him the big goldfish on the show here. My brother made a good point, which is that
what the hell I was going for? I should have just stole something else clever you said in the past.
no, I like big goldfish. My brother John had suggested to me on the phone privately that, look, Biden and the Democrats are going to keep pushing Biden as the nominee as hard as they can until the moment he drops out. So if he is going to drop out, it actually makes sense. They're going to keep pushing. But you're right. It seems like they're pushing so much that I don't know how they're going to bring in anybody else. They've even gone to saying that they've gone back to saying that Biden's problems are just due to a stutter. Somebody posted that on Twitter the other day. They said that again. I'm like, really? You go back to the stutter thing? Oh, you know what? We haven't used a stutter lie in a while. Let's throw that one back in. The New York Times came out. Well, we're going to cover this in a minute, but they've come out and they've gone, you know who's unfit for office? Donald Trump. Really? Donald Trump is unfit for office? Okay, Jason, what do you got to say? Sorry.
No, what I think is I think there's a civil war going on. I think there's people that don't have the memo that the cheat is in. They're gonna rig this thing. They're gonna cheat. I think only a very few people know that. So so there's the people like, no, we got to replace this guy. The people that aren't in on that, and yeah. So I have a theory. I was thinking that they were gonna replace him, but now I'm kind of with Chris on that. I don't think they'll replace him, but I think once they win or once they cheat it, and he becomes president again, he's going to either step down and Kamala's going to take over. I think he's going to know their security. He's going to know he's going to be pardoned. He's going to know everything's going to be safe. Now's the moment I can do it. And I think that's it, because Kamala to me is another perfect puppet, just as Biden. I mean, I know they got her too. So that's my theory on that. So I think. Sure. He wins president, he steps down, something happens to him, whatever, and Kamala takes over, and it's the same old for the next 4 years.
All right, let's have a look at this one, because this is super disappointing to me. This is news that I don't really want to report on, but it's happened. House fails to hold AG Merrick Garland in contempt after 4 Republicans defect. F you, 4 Republicans who defected. F you to hell. You need to just whatever.
I posted about this, and let's face it, they're not Republicans. Those people are Democrats. Those 4 so-called Republicans are Democrats. Let's have and I also wrote on my post, when are the conservatives, the Republicans, going to infiltrate the Democratic Party? When are they going to go in and run as Democrats, but they're really conservatives? They need to get that going, because that's what the Democrats are doing. I don't believe these people for 1 second are Republican.
Right. Yeah. No. We need to have a supermajority in the House and the Senate, and we need to root out these rhinos who are destroying the country. The whole thing just makes me sick. I mean, Merrick Garland is a crook. He needs to go to prison, I believe. Dame Frodo Lives says, and Obama, like Kamala, won. I do not understand this. Sorry, Dave Frodo Lives. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was a slip on the keyboard. I don't know. Ryan, let's hear what you have to say about all of this insanity with Merrick Garland being an evil piece of garbage from hell. What's your take? Because it's probably, I don't know how you could hate Merrick Garland worse than me, because I absolutely hate this guy. I just hate him.
I don't think anybody could hate him more when he was dancing around the fact that he was essentially like he wasn't saying it. Oh no, I can't say this, but they were infiltrating churches and trying to get people locked up as radicals, Catholic churches, other
the Catholics,
Christianity branches. And ever since that, it was like, wait, what? Like, that was a scary moment for a bit, where obviously when that whole thing came out and he kind of danced around it, like, no, that's not true. I haven't actually seen the hearing in a bit, but he's just such a little weasel when they were trying to pin him down and just
weasel.
Admit like what the heck he's responsible for. And it just, that's the perfect word. Like, he just kind of weasels out of things. And I don't know. I don't know how he keeps getting away with it, but I don't think I've ever seen him say anything where I'm like, okay, that's a fair point. But it's just everything that comes out of his mouth, he's always on the wrong side.
But could you imagine Merrick Garland say something and you're like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't even imagine it.
I don't know where that photo comes from, but if you look at the smirk, like that's a typical like face that these people have, like when they know nothing's gonna happen to them. I think he's just going full force on getting back at the Republicans and everything and conservatives because he wasn't picked as Supreme Court a judge, So I think he's just getting revenge.
Thank God, that's the only thing that was good that didn't happen. Else we'd all be screwed.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's just pissed off about that. But like these people, it always comes to the damn Republicans. But the Republicans are infiltrated. It's we can't rely on the Republicans. It's
all right, Black Pill Jason.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to something that's good. Lord, your negativity. Okay, keep it light, Jason.
I love the MMA Fix. I love the way Chris is always saying that stuff about me, but because he just doesn't want to realize that I guess he does realize.
I just don't want the show to be so depressing. For crying out loud! After the end of every segment, he goes, "But you know what the truth is." And
Chris, every day I go to get gas, every day I go to shop, it's depressing. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a theory why you and I may be a little more black-pilled, and I try like hell to just like, oh, let's make a lighthearted comment and try to move on. But you and I both have kids. You and I are both married, and as all parents, even those in the chat can relate to this. We look at younger children now going, if this is where every generation we get a little more and a little more and a little more, what world are we leaving? What country are we leaving our children?
Yep.
And I try to protect them that because they're not old enough. I want them to experience life and be happy, but it's quite frankly, it's getting damn scary. And I try to just use humor to get a happy dad, but I'm sure you can relate, man.
No, great point. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Because having a child actually did change my perspective on everything. Because before, I didn't care. I was like, I cared, man. I cared. I knew what was going on. But the thing is, like, I was more focused on my career. Like, I was like, okay, those things are going to happen anyway. Let me just focus on my career. But when I had the kid, it was like, Chris, all right, I'll be willing to do this show because things need to change in this country because I have a kid now and I want a future for him that's optimistic, that where he can actually survive in and see, I lost my word. Why?
Once you have children,
prosper.
Well, look, you guys are both totally right. I think when you have children, you have stakes, right? You have skin in the game. You have something that is at risk that you need to protect. And so you need to be a lot more careful about what you're seeing and what, what the stakes are. So it becomes a little bit more terrifying, everything's a little bit more heightened. Everything's more heightened. We have another comment from Big Lou. Big Lou's been a big contributor today. Thank you so much, Big Lou.
Thank you.
We love you. Big Lou 85, he's $20. He says, have you guys covered how Michigan has essentially made it legal to cheat? Whitmer? Yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know why we didn't put that up today. Whitmer signed something into law that they won't allow recounts or verifications under any circumstance. I saw it on X, but I can't remember who posted it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, 100%. Whitmer is a piece of garbage. She's allowing, she's essentially allowing cheating in Michigan. And this is what you can expect from Democrat states. This is what you can expect from Democrat states. The only way they can win is to cheat. Yeah,
that's another perfect example of they're telling you in your face like we're cheaters, you know, and we're gonna they're actually passing laws to allow them to cheat. This is how crazy
I believe this is unconstitutional. I think this will be challenged. I'm hoping that it's challenged in time for them to sort this out before the election, but I don't know. It's coming quick, man. So I don't know. But Big Lou 85, thank you so much for not just the contribution in cash, but the contribution in information, because I don't know how we missed that story. You know, when we do these, sometimes we're reading stuff during like the last few days, and you know, we just forget to post something here and there. And what's that, Ryan?
No, I was still playing a catch up from my vacation. Other than you guys, I didn't listen to almost anything. So I got back Monday, and I'm just like trying to get prepared, and so I had less than a couple of days. So I'm just now catching up to a few things.
Oh well. Hopefully, we're teaching you a couple things about what's happening in the world. All right, so this is
always great.
This is the story I mentioned a little bit earlier. This is a New York Times editorial board. They have come out and straight up said Trump is unfit to lead. Trump is unfit to be president. This is the biggest gaslight ever. I mean, it's absolute garbage, right? I don't even know where they got this picture, but look, Trump alone in the darkness, unfit to lead. What absolute rubbish.
You know what's sad though is the comments. Like people are actually this is what we were talking about this earlier. It's nice of them after the Biden whatever character session they have engaged in the last several weeks. No one saying like they're finally coming out with saying that Trump is not fit to be president. Like the New York Times have been. Where are these people? Are they like in some other planet or something, some other dimension? Like New York.
No, it's propaganda. It's propaganda.
New York Times have always been putting down Trump and saying he's unfit in this, but like now they're finally doing it to these people.
So let's read a couple of these comments. Z Von Fleet writes, "No one gives a damn about what this propaganda machine says." Absolutely right. Conservative Patriot Pizza bitch says, "LOL. Who gives an F? No one is going to save you." That's right. They're going to lose. They're desperate. We know what's going on here. Let's see here. Okay, now this is the Project 2025 plan. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but this is what the Democrats are pushing right now. Yeah. This is their big thing. They're saying Trump's friends have created Project 2025 for Donald Trump, and it's going to destroy the country. And this is sort of like the big boogeyman right now that they're trying to push. I'm actually going to do a video on it, so I'm not going to cover it here. But yeah, this is the big new thing. As soon as I get done with the fact check video, this is the next video I'm going to be working on. I've got a couple other videos to put out, but yeah, this is coming out soon. Yeah. Granny Porn Star writes, "The gaslighting of the American people is not working. Keep trying." That's it. And I keep saying this. Gaslighting is only gaslighting if it works, guys. I don't know what the hell this is, but this is just like, I don't know. Gas glowing? They're trying something. I don't know, but it's not working. You mean they have had so many cancellations of subscriptions by the furious public that they're waking up? So this must be a leftist.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. These people, I'm telling you, they're living in another dimension or something, or another, what do you call it, a multiverse?
Right. Okay, so now, like, look at this is a Democrat here. Like a day late and $1 short.
That's
what's funny is this is the weird thing. I feel like, and I've seen this before, Democrats believe that the mainstream media is against them.
Yes. That's yes.
Isn't that like the weirdest thing? Like you're just like, what? What are you talking about? Like the mainstream media is on your side, right? It's like that meme where the Black Lives Matter protester throws a rock through these white guys' window, and the guy like screams through the window, "We're on your side! We're on your side!" I love that video. I need to find
it's
no self-awareness.
No self-awareness is exactly what it is. Anyway, sorry, Jason. What were you gonna say?
No, it's funny because one guy, I posted on my ex. One guy posted the media's anti-Biden noise isn't an accident. Like, and he's actually saying that all the CEOs of CNN, ABC, CBS, and they're all Trump donors. and I'm like, what are you people nuts? Like, are you serious? Like, I wrote, get this now the legacy media is right-wing propaganda, including CNN. Like, it's crazy. It's wild. Like, it's wild. I don't know. I don't want to use a word, but retardation is the only word you can use for these people, man.
It's true. It's true. Okay, now here's the
IQ level below 10. I don't know, man.
All right, here's the biggest gaslight of all. Check this.
They're going to be so ridiculously flip-flop where they're going to be like, oh, yeah, no, the mainstream media is against us, and he can't even talk right, and he debates bad, and his son is like, oh, wait, wrong guy. Like, at what point do we realize, like, you guys got it completely backwards? What are we talking about?
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. But here's another example. Here's another example real quick. Russia is interfering in the 2024 election to help Trump, U.S. intelligence officials say. This comes from Fox News, actually. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay. So apparently they're bringing back the Russia collusion hoax. Like, what? Really? They're bringing back the Russian collusion hoax? They're like, oh, you know what didn't work? Or I guess it did work. Or they think it worked or something. I'm not really sure exactly, but
it worked.
This to me,
it worked.
Well, it worked in the sense that a lot of people believed it.
Yeah,
but like to me, it's like, really, you're gonna try to bring that crap back? Like,
oh yeah.
Russian interference in 2024 election. Yeah, if you don't succeed the first time, try again. Yeah. That's exactly it.
And it's funny. It's coming from Fox. That's the funny thing too.
Well, I think they're just reporting on. Okay, so officials within the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, ODNI, have warned that Russia has launched a plan to interfere in the 2024 election to boost her chance. Really? So the Office of the Director of National Intelligence under Joe Biden has said that the Russians are against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's shocking to it is shocking actually that Fox News would print this in a way, but we know that the people who run Fox are actually Democrats or part of the deep state or something like that. But I mean, what are you talking about? Yeah, really? The Russians want Trump over Biden? Come on. The Russians couldn't even invade Ukraine until Biden was in office, because they were terrified of Donald Trump.
And I could just picture that white liberal lefty woman going, yeah, you see, yeah, it's Russia. Russia's back in it again. I could just picture it, like,
Yeah, because honestly, I think that even though the whole Russian collusion thing was completely debunked a million times over, I think a lot of Democrat voters still believe it.
Yep.
Like Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, they're like, those Russians, they always really wanted Trump. They did. They wanted Trump because we read it in the New York Times. They're just obsessed with this stupid idea. Anyway, Ryan, what's your take on this?
Well, just because you hit that last note, anytime somebody brings that up, or the white liberal women or the View, I know, Chris, you've talked about that a lot in the past. I just want to I won't, because I have respect for both names in the chat, but I just want to yell, like, repeal the 19th.
Well, I did post a video a little while ago called "Should Women Be Allowed to Vote?" I highly recommend everyone watching that if you haven't already.
Yeah, look,
it's brilliant.
No,
it's a great video.
Yeah, no, I always mention this, but I have a friend and I talk with her wife, and we talk. His wife is always we talk politics with his wife, and she says, like, she'd be willing to give up her right to vote if it took canceling out all those liberal lefty crazy lefty votes. She's like, I'm willing to take one for the team if that's the case. And
you hear a lot of women saying that these days. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. A lot of conservative women will say that these days. It's pretty cool.
And the Russia thing. I have another theory about the Russia thing. Like, I think they knew that they're going to get into a war with Russia, the deep state. So I think they used it to their advantage, and they just made Russia the evil people, and they're going to use Russia whenever they can against Trump or any of their enemies.
Dame Frodo Lives jumps in with $5. She says, U.S. intelligence, like the 51 U.S. intelligence officers who lied to our faces. Fox went dark a while back. Yeah, for real. Yeah. And by dark, I don't think she means blacked out. I think she means like went dark and went to the dark side. Yeah. Those 51 intelligence officials that said, that the Hunter Biden laptop had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. Yeah, they knew that wasn't Russian disinformation. They were lying to you. They're lying to you now. The Russians do not want Trump in there again because he's actually formidable. They love pussified U.S. government is what they really want.
I wish Trump would have said that in the debate. Like, where are your 51 intelligence people now? I wish he would have mentioned that.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, there were a few things that I thought that Trump could have said that would have maybe really put the nail in the coffin there, but it wasn't necessary. Actually, a lot of the stuff that I had thought, it'd be good if Trump says this.
Yeah.
I was thinking that he was going to be going up against a slightly more formidable Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he didn't have to say anything. Absolutely.
Yeah, the debate we got was actually better than I could have imagined because we all thought that Biden would be like that in 2020. When he went to the debates, we thought for sure he was going to be like this. And they pumped him full of something. And it let him be at least somewhat vaguely competent in the debates, which I think surprised a lot of us. We were just like, oh, Biden's able to speak? When did this happen? But he was hopped up on something. And Trump was right. They're feeding him drugs. And for whatever reason, they didn't get him those drugs during the debate. That's my theory. And we got to see Biden raw and uncensored. Wow, we kept Ryan in the whole show.
We did.
Because
he's a man.
The audio.
Because he's a man.
Yeah, and we this is toxic masculinity after all.
Men get special privilege on the show.
No offense to the others who were not left
male privilege.
But actually, MMA Fix, I would like to put you on the show again when we've been able to do some kind of an audio test to figure out how to make you sound halfway decent.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was, I know it was a bit of a weird with the whole flights and everything. It was kind of last second. So, next time will be better.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to have people in the chat because obviously people in the chat, they don't have like professional equipment and stuff like that. So you never know what you're going to get with the quality. But the quality of the comments is what we care about. MMA Fix /Ryan. And the quality of the comments were definitely mediocre at best.
That's what I'm saying.
But thank you so much for coming on the show.
I was going to say
for Ryan to laugh at that. No? I said your comments are mediocre at best. Obviously, I was supposed to say they were amazing.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to blame that one on the delay. I might have missed that. I'll laugh when I go back and watch the show.
I'm gutted that one didn't land. But anyway, and Jason kept interrupting me as usual. Sorry, what was that, Ryan?
No, I was going to say I'm going to go back and steal that one too, by the way. So.
Oh, excellent. I always say that
you pretty much don't even know it, but you actually are responsible for all the jokes in all my videos. So
every single one. Yeah. Perfect. And just all my jokes, just add in bed to the end of them. I think that's a typical trick that people like to use. In bed, and then it usually makes everything funnier.
Yeah, that's with the fortune.
That was an old trick from like the 90s or something. Yeah.
I do that with the fortune cookies. Every time you read a fortune cookie,
say ladies
is that
to sound like a creep?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do it when you read a fortune cookie. After you read the fortune cookie, say in bed, and it's hilarious.
Oh, that's perfect.
I was gonna say, our guest, the video and audio and stuff is really trash and garbage. but look, our audience is very smart, intelligent, and they do a better job on commenting on things than me. So hey, I'll give them that.
Exactly. Yeah, you guys. Unfortunately, you're smarter than the hosts, which I don't know if it makes an entertaining show or an interesting show, but we love you guys, and we have the best audience on YouTube. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being on the show. Thanks, Jason, as always, for being my amazing co-host. And, we bicker and we fight and we call each other names, but we love each other. We will see you guys next time. I really enjoyed this one. We'll see you on Monday. That's it for us for today. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. Good night, everybody.